Oh, I don't know if the intro's gonna make noise. Oh, we're gonna find out.
Should.
NyanCave!
Wow, that sounded really cool.
It sounded so interesting.
I know.
Hello!
Is that what you've all been hearing all this time?
No.
Amazing.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Well,
Might be better now. Who knows?
welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back.
It's Sunday, and we're
Yeah.
playing Mace Attorney.
Mace Attorney.
That's a little different game. Trying to find all the mace-related crimes.
Mace-related crimes.
You know what would be a terrible place for Mace?
Where?
Inside your...
And
You stopped
you're lucky
saying words.
YouTube has implemented censors
I know,
into
it's
these
really
streams.
hard to push the button and talk at the same time.
It's a lot easier when someone else is the frickin'
Wow,
button.
no!
Get it, come on.
Having too much fun with that.
I know.
I swear.
Hi.
Yeah, no, you can't swear. That's
You'll
the
never
point.
guess
Oh,
what we
right.
got on the soundboard.
How are all of you? Did you enjoy your weekend?
Yeah,
Well, technically, it still is weekend for people.
I'm talking
What?
to the Japanese audience, Nyanny.
obviously.
Jeez. Monday.
Ohayou gozaimasu.
Or-
Genki desu.
Oh.
Genki desu ka?
Hi.
Oh, this one.
Watashi wa genki desu. Demo, nemui desu ne.
Oh.
そうですね。
And
とにかく。
people are posting some pretty spicy gifs of
Shunbi
me
wa
in the
ii-
stream highlights chat.
Oh,
Very
yeah.
distracting.
Ikuzo.
Wee! So last time we left off
Yes.
inside Madam Two
You
Spells.
can't say it like that.
Her mom lets her have 2 spells.
Ah, nice.
Everything's made of wax, and I'm concerned for my safety.
I find it relatable.
Have you ever? Is it because of my personality?
We say everything's
Oh.
made of wax.
Yeah.
I think somebody in here's real, aside from Herlock. I think something.
I can tell because he's 3D. Do
Mm-hmm.
you know that wax models are actually just made of 2D?
What?
Yeah, it's flat.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Yeah, me would go back there is made of wax.
2D greater than 3D though.
Oh, is this an example of Western sujiri? Sujigiri?
Sujigiri.
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 Sujigiri. Sujigiri.
Sujigiri.
I don't know what that is.
You know, when an unscrupulous samurai randomly attacks passerbys to test his sword?
I still don't know.
They were allowed to do that?
I know they did testing on criminals. They're just like, oh, I wonder if this
Oh.
blade sharp. Let's cut a guy's arm off.
Damn.
Yeah, savages.
But actually, a waxwork samurai would be probably a hugely popular. Hugely popular. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. It's been a while since.
Since I've done her voice.
Could you model it? Do you think, Bruno, doing that sujigiri thing you mentioned?
Well, I don't have a sword, but I've no intention of testing how sharp it is on a human subject. For now, at least. For now.
For now,
For now.
Burr now, hairless later.
I'm just gonna lower the game volume because apparently it's drowning us out sometimes.
Oh, really? There's yeah, you can turn it down a little bit, but also there's ducking. I have it on really low if you just want to like incrementally put it up. You can also do that. It's the ratio. It's at 2. Madam Two Spells.
Hey, Madam Two Spells. Yeah? I feel like she's kind of a mafia affiliated.
Oh, really?
Madam Two Spells.
Madam
Yeah.
Two Spells.
Why do they call her that? Cast 2 spells. You know?
What is this place?
I forget what this man sounds like. Madame Two Spells came to London from France 3 years ago, I understand. Since she opened this little waxwork museum last year, she's enjoyed great popularity in London.
There are museums like this in Japan too, but the displays are something else. I mean, they aren't made from actual, real people, are they?
The extreme realism of these waxwork models is a particular secret of the Two Spells family, they say. They earned renown during the French Revolution for waxwork of victims of the guillotine.
That sounds grim.
The gruesome scenes were portrayed with such realism in the expressions of the faces of the condemned.
Apparently, the sculpture would make the models directly from the corpses, right there at the site of the execution.
That really turns my stomach.
That's just one of the several legends about the Two Spells family. Whether there's any truth in it, I couldn't say. But anyway, this museum houses models of famous people from all over the globe. Nevertheless, most popular of the area of the museum by quite some margin is the House of Horrors.
House of Horrors?
Of course, visitor numbers are dwindling now as a result of the Great Exhibition. But people usually flock here to see the exhibits of some of London's most vile criminals at their gruesome work. Naturally, most of the miscreants portrayed here were sent to the gallows. So they're even stiffer now than the models of them.
Have you heard of poor taste?
Think of this.
My dear fellow, the public live for poor taste. They yearn to be shocked.
So, the hideous exhibits in here are...
They're all portrayals of real events that actually took place in actual Japanese history.
Wow. Yeah, we did have a giant crab in our museum. Is it just me, or did the temperature in here just seem to drop?
Anyway, I advise you not to think too deeply about what you see here.
Apparently my mic sucks right now.
Oh, he's back to being a waxwork, is he?
Oh!
Moving through Vodland.
Hey,
right
what's
now.
up, Mike?
Still
Speak audio?
technical. Now that you've met Gina again, her every move you make, every breath you take line from the first game actually fits. Because police.
Hey.
Speak! Appreciate. That's kind of fun that we got a potential audio expert in the chat while we're trying out potentially new audio.
Thanks, Pikes Peak. Yeah, it's fine as long as I don't make any loud noises. If I speak just like this, just fine. My mic is fine.
But the moment I start to speak a little loudly, I get so highly compressed that you can't hear a bit of things that I'm saying.
Actually, your compressor was basically off before. You weren't being compressed at all.
Oh, apparently I wasn't being compressed at all, and this is just something else that's happening.
That might do it, though. What do you mean by temporary waxwork of Mr. Sholmes? Oh, and,
Oh, yeah!
sorry, it just a little bit. I ran out of, the other stuff. So I've got the, no,
Oh
there's
my-
that. I
Oh,
mean,
no.
I know.
You monster. You monster. I've had...
Oh, shoot.
Wow, okay.
Sorry, these are broken.
Also, the Skulkin brothers would now be played by Chris Pratt and Charlie Day in the live-action remake.
Thanks, Mike Peak! Gonna have a lot of meows today, I think.
Shouldn't.
I'm so sorry.
From rags to Rosa, Gina turned her life around.
Oh, you suck, Tom.
I'm
Oh.
I'm so sorry.
Adam! Thank
I
you.
got distracted
no,
by the
thank
meow.
you, Tom.
I haven't done that in a long time.
No.
It's been a long time.
Been a long time. What do you mean by temporary waxwork, Mr. Sholmes?
Exactly what you see. I'm part of the exhibits here, catching these criminals in the act.
Oh, huh.
Catching them?
Every half an hour, I home in on a different killer in one of the displays and adopt a new pose to ensnare him. When members of the public come for a closer look, I offer them my hand to shake. For a shilling, I'll happily allow them to take a photograph with us.
Us? Does he mean him and the waxwork murderers in here? But why, Mr. Sholmes?
My dear fellow, isn't it obvious? For the money!
He really roared at me there. Very fitting for the House of Horrors.
As it stands, I may struggle to pay this month's rent, and I have the ravenous hours to consider.
Oh.
Oh, Hurley, I'm so hungry.
If push comes to shove, I shall have to ask you to do your bit, Mr. Naruhodo.
What's he threatening to rope me into now?
So, with that in mind, how about a photograph? As a special treat, you may have your pick of the murderers and scoundrels in here. The choice is yours.
Maybe some other time.
Remember, Mr. Naruhodo, ignore me at your peril.
Back to being a waxwork again. Is it just me, or did his final remark there sound a lot like a curse?
Well, what is it you'd like me to ask me then?
Actually, it's about Lord Von Zeeks.
Our friend the Reaper. How do you find him? Well, I trust.
Where are we going?
And so I filled Mr. Sholmes in about everything I'd learned. And Lord Von Zeeks. Oh, about Professor Hairbrain. And about the strange coincidence that they had been at the university together.
Coincidence.
So I'm wondering what it was that happened to make Lord Von Zeeks such a different person.
I was sure that you know, Hurley.
You said there was something going on here in this exhibit hall before. That something was afoot. And that you believed it was related to what I wanted to ask you about. Mr. Sholmes? He suddenly clammed up.
Well, it seems we've reached an unavoidable... Oh.
Greetings. Oh my god. Oh! Oh!
She's delightful.
Oh.
I like her quite a lot.
Okay.
Hello.
Okay.
Where did she appear from? And what is she wearing? Could she look any more mysterious?
Who wants to be her? Ooh, ooh, wow.
Sorry. At a moment. I heard chimes.
I think she's mafia associated. You know?
I hope you're appreciating my museums, you know?
Oh.
Well, maybe not Tom.
No, maybe not. I'm gonna give her that voice.
I hope you are appreciating my museum. French. Oh, she's French. Of course, 2 spells.
Sorry, have we... Mr. Sholmes, do you know who this... Not again.
Tom, you know French.
I'm just so locked into Italian right now.
Time to be French. Je m'appelle 2 spell.
Je m'appelle Tuspel.
My apologies, I am Esmeralda Tuspels. This is my museum of waxwork.
Waxwork?
What? You're the Madame Two Spells? The...
Bien sûr. Though only 26 years old, I'm a dead.
Is that significant somehow?
I'm a madame only a name. It had a certain je ne sais quoi.
Right.
Première, I must apologize for my waxworks. Or rather, one waxwork in particular.
Dang, where'd that hot guy come from in the back?
Yeah, right. That'll be Mr. Sholmes then.
Well, I was led to believe she was a great detective, but he seems unable to settle. Next time you move from your designated exhibit, there will be term and trouble.
She sounds deadly serious.
That's a problem. How am I supposed to ask Mr. Sholmes about Lord Von Zeeks now?
Let's not forget what Hurley said before. About something about a foot in the museum, I mean.
Yes, I know, but...
I'm so curious. I want to know what's happening in here.
Haven't we got enough on our plate already?
The waxwork?
Did you make all these waxworks, Madame Two Spells?
I did. I am the third generation waxwork artisan, you know.
Gosh!
It was my grandmother who began my tradition in my family. Her fortunes were checkered, leading to the turbulent time of the French Revolution, as she did. Though, that is when she acquired the savoir-faire that leads to the astonishing liveliness.
All these waxworks really do look as though they're alive. In fact, they look more alive than Hurley.
What you see exhibited here represents the most atrocious of London's criminal past. All the waxworks were created in the presence of a real person on which they were modeled. In the hours immediately following their executions, that is the secret to the extraordinary liveliness.
That sounds terrifying.
All walks of life have similar challenges, I am sure. To carry out one's trade par excellence, one must go to extraordinary lengths. My exhibits are a reflection of society. I create only that which the public wishes to see.
Why couldn't the public have wished for something less horrifying?
Do not fear.
Sorry?
This room is only one in a museum in which has macabre theme. I do hope you'll explore. There are models of famous singers, actors, politicians, something for every taste, I hope.
It was Iris who dragged me straight in here, come to think of it.
Sorry, perhaps I should have eased you into things.
Oh!
Probably shouldn't laugh anymore.
I gotta get more cutouts. I'll be right
Just
back.
finished The Great Ace
John!
Attorney, and wow, was it a well-written work of fiction. I look
Nice.
forward to seeing the rest of your reaction.
Oh, thanks, John.
Hey, Tom.
Oui.
Do you want to give me a Madame Tussauds into the mic?
Madame Tussauds, the waxwork, the great magician, Detective Waxwork. Something is afoot. Something is afoot, oui. Oui, oui, je m'appelle Madame Waxwork. Oh, quoi fun! Sophie Pro.
Yeah, really excited to finish this game. Well, I mean, like, you know, not to finish it, but
No!
to play through it, to see the end.
God, I can't wait until this game's over. Jeez.
My
Oh, the
team
characters
is
are
good
so
again.
delightful.
All is well.
Angry!
So here I am, heart.
Hey! Angry, thank you.
Thanks,
Nice.
Angry. Hi.
Hello.
I'm glad your team is doing well.
Sports. Sports. Go sports. Sports!
Madame Tuspel,
John!
single and wants Runo to know it.
Oui, alors, Uno?
Can you change the costumes of the characters? They look so cool and you can use them in game too. Smiley face. Also happy Sunday.
Hey, Mom's Giving Anime. I have seen them. They're pretty cool.
Yeah, we checked them out at the end of the previous game.
Yeah. Probably not, though. A lot of purists in chat.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh no, Mommy
That
Tuspel,
guy!
please don't throw the hot wax on me, haha. Unless.
Unless.
Quoi?
The Great Detective Waxwork. What's the situation with, that?
Gestures broadly to everything. With
All of that.
Ah, mon temporary waxwork model? He approached me some days ago, you see, with a business proposal.
What sort of proposal?
My dear madame, what these sparse exhibits need is the addition of a world-famous great detective.
Oh, words to that effect? Naturally, I am well aware of Mr. Sholmes is widely known in London as a talented detective.
It's great detective, actually. He's very specific about it.
Oui. Le crème de la crème, so I was keen to come to some arrangement with him, of course.
Of course.
But sadly, we were unable to agree to terms.
Let me guess. Someone wanted to charge an exorbitant price for his services.
For a mere £500, I will dive into your cauldron of wax this very moment.
Woo! Hot.
Words to that effect?
Mr. Sholmes might have overdone it slightly with the sales pitch.
Regrettably, the museum has a shortage of funds at the moment due to unforeseen circumstances. So we came to the current arrangement instead.
Surely he doesn't need to do what he's doing, though, does he?
I would think not, but he was very insistent.
I have a 50-shilling problem that must be resolved by the morning.
Oh, words to that effect?
It's the pawnbroker, that's what it is. He must have something here to redeem.
Is the consulting detective work not going so well? I wonder, could I ask you something?
Bien sûr.
I'm just curious. Is anything going on in the museum at the moment? Some kind of incident, perhaps?
Whoever suggested such a thing to you?
Well, it was, your temporary waxwork over there who mentioned it to me a little...
He gone.
Oh! He's disappeared!
Oh, he right gone.
Hmm.
A wax model is a work of art, not some tawdry object for trade.
For trade!
There you are!
Leaving the exhibit again when you should be working?
Oh, God!
Do you wish to be melted down?
A little bit.
My dear Madame Two-Spells, save your reprimands. There are more pressing concerns. The wax can wait. It's our ideas about your current problem that we must throw into the melting pot instead. Personally, I would advise you not to involve the police.
Why ever not?
She's turned as white as a sheet.
Because you have at your disposal a great detective whose services you may employ for a mere 50 shillings. Though please be aware that I prefer no I insist upon payment in advance.
Very well. Let us see if the great detective is able to live up to his name, shall we?
Before I engage my analytical process, I must ask for you to clarify something. Wait, what, pray, is behind the curtain?
That is the Two-Spells special exhibit. There is an actor charged to see it.
Ah, the special exhibit in the House of Horrors. It must depict a special killer then, I presume.
Oh, those
Would you be so kind as to draw back the curtain, I wonder?
Absolutely no! There is nothing amiss behind there.
Nothing amiss, madam. What about the arm protruding ominously from out under the curtain?
Sacré.
I strongly encourage you to allow me to see what lies beyond before the situation worsens.
Oui, very well. I will draw back the curtains, but only a soupçon.
I thought like a soup con, like a soup convention,
Mm-hmm,
where all kinds of soups are made.
I'm dressed up as my favorite soup, chicken noodle. I know people think it's a little basic and it's the most overhyped cosplayed soup in all of the fandom, but I just have to say that as a purist, chicken noodle is by far the superior soup.
It's okay. I can make you look good by dressing up as chicken noodle with ketchup in it.
Ew.
Why would you put a smoothie in your soup?
I must confess I peeked behind the curtain earlier. The Two Spells special exhibit is a very bleak graveyard scene indeed.
I used to do it as a kid, yeah. What about it?
Oh, true fact.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, chicken goes on, or
my parents hated
ketchup
me.
goes on chicken. And I mean,
you could if you wanted to, but...
tomato sauce goes on noodles. There's a lot of correlation to ketchup going into chicken noodle soup.
I don't know about that one, friend.
And yet, somewhat surprisingly, the waxwork killer one would expect is nowhere to be seen. What does strike one, however, is the portly gentleman laying peacefully on his back on the floor.
Well, then perhaps, Mr. Sholmes, that man on the floor is the ruthless killer himself.
I'm afraid not, my dear fellow. He's perfectly ordinary London gentleman. Not even a waxwork one, in fact.
What?
As skillfully made as these waxworks are, they are always distinguishable from real humans. So, allow me to present my two conclusions. The first is that a sizable business transaction has been taking place in this special exhibit.
Pourquoi? Pourquoi? Why would you say that?
And the second is that the aforementioned transaction is linked to a serious crime.
She looks as pale as candle wax.
Don't understand.
So, Madame Two Spells, as you've agreed to my fee, you shall now have the pleasure of seeing this famously
Oh
great
my.
detective and temporary exhibit at work.
The game is afoot.
Ooh.
Waxwork's fate.
To begin with, we must ask ourselves what exactly is afoot here in this museum. The answer is revealed by the bundle of banknotes protruding so helpfully from your bag. In my estimation, some £200?
Ooh.
That is all my own money.
Yeah, so what does this large sum of money reveal? Not as much as the involuntary glance you cast at it would seem, Madame Two Spells. Yes, the answer lies where your eyes now fall. The significance of the £200 is revealed by that public notice. Waxwork for sale? Your business has hit hard times, it would seem. In short, you sold the infamous killer, the centerpiece of your special exhibit, for the sum of £200.
No!
Now, let us explore the next curiosity with which we are presented. Who is the portly gentleman stretched out so peacefully on the floor? It would appear the man has suffered a severe shock, the cause of which is clearly known to you. Unfortunately, madame, keeping secrets does not appear to be your forte. What dealt the man such a shocking blow was, of course, the £200. It would appear that you twisted this gentleman around your little finger most effectively.
What are you suggesting?
He rashly agreed to purchase the waxworks for the sum of £200. Only when he came to hand the money over did it occur to him what an extraordinary amount of money he was paying. But the money was no longer in his hands. And the result? The scene we see before us. He collapsed in shock. Yes, the killer in this special exhibit fetched a killer price. We can only pray that gentlemen's dreams are not plagued with regret.
Sold for cash. Waxwork location.
The question that arises then is what has become of the waxwork that changed hands? Let us consider that problem for a moment.
You cannot possibly.
No, but I can. What immediately strikes me about this conundrum is the young man standing over there. Me too. Who is this fellow? To find the answer, we need only observe his neckerchief. Such as worn by a policeman and as a secret sign to fellow members of the force that a crime is being perpetrated. Yes, this young man is an undercover policeman currently investigating this museum. I know him well, in fact. It's Sergeant John Clay.
Hey!
That's you.
Me?
Oh, what are you talking about?
The man's quite a celebrity. He received triple accolades in last year's policing awards.
But
Next, we turn our attention to the old man sat before him with particularly unsightly visage. I've been watching closely, and he hasn't moved a muscle in almost... In fact, as if he were waxwork.
but you...
Your reaction only confirms my suspicions, madam. I noticed it at once, of course. Observe. The telltale sign that instantly proves whether or not this old man is a waxwork is the obvious price tag. Threepence? A tragically low price, you might say, though perhaps the going rate for aging waxworks is riddled with cracks. And yet you sold the portly gentleman for an exorbitant £200. The sort of plucky behavior that is sure to attract the attention of Scotland Yard. Isn't it so, madame?
I do not.
Yes, the waxwork you have sold already has been seized by the police and remains in their custody as we speak. The old man must be reunited with the grave in his special exhibit and not a moment too soon.
Discovered already.
Thus concludes Herlock Sholmes's great deduction of this horrifying puzzle.
I wanted him to push the wax figure over, and then it just fall
and then bleed.
and bleed.
$1 million baby.
Oh.
Oh, it makes boiling sounds.
Carlos.
Ooh.
I see I've stunned you all into silence.
You have, Ellie. You have. And you obviously upset this young lady in the process. Her cauldron looks awfully hot.
If I could just bring up one point, Mr. Sholmes.
The notorious Naruhodo 1 point. I'm all ears, my dear fellow.
According to your deduction, then, the special exhibit featured this old policeman. So, that would mean that he's practically, he's the particularly ruthless murderer, wouldn't it?
The killer policeman, Ottomole.
Sorry?
It was a mysterious series of murders that rattled the capital only last year. The police rushed to the scene every time, only to find the culprit had disappeared into the ether.
And it turned out the culprit was a policeman himself, a senior officer by the name of Ottomole.
So you mean that's who the sinister-looking old man there's supposed to be?
Indeed, it is a particularly grim face, is it not? Unforgettable, in fact. Yes, I remember that odious countenance only too well.
But is £200 a lot of money for a wax model?
It would be enough to afford one of the latest steam carriages, if that puts things into perspective.
So, it is quite a lot then.
Is there anything else you wish to add? Before I melt you down?
That bubbling wax is looking more and more ominous.
Oh, the smell of all that molten wax is starting to worry me.
Mr. Sholmes did more or less just accuse her to her face, so I think I might have to call on your assistance here, Iris, if that's all right. Ooh, is this her first time doing one of these?
I think so.
To make some minor corrections to the Great Detective's great deductions?
Of course it's all right. We'll set things straight soon. Boop, boop, boop.
Well, let's get started then, shall we? Before Madame Two Spells vents her rage.
Just what I was waiting to hear, my dear fellow. So, Madame Two Spells, in accordance with our agreement, you shall now have the pleasure of seeing this famously great detective and temporary exhibit at work.
Course correction. Hold it, Mr. Sholmes.
Hold it!
I
Sold
love
for cash.
Esmeralda Spell's character design.
Me
Yeah, it's really
too.
great.
She's so good. She
I love
just
Jack.
looks great.
Yeah, I love
Thank you.
Esmeralda as a name.
And sorry for the delay.
Esmeralda's such a good name. Esmeralda.
So magical.
It is. It's so good.
Guess who has
Dark.
two thumbs? Got tested positive for COVID before Tom
no.
came for Race Attorney streams and is finally feeling good enough to watch.
Oh,
Dark Iron. I
I'm
was
glad to hear you're
wondering
feeling
what,
better.
what would happen. Yeah. Congratulations on feeling better.
Yeah.
That
sucks.
That's scary. It
Tough,
sucks.
Scary. Real scary.
But glad you can be here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Madame Tuspells is based on Madame Tussaud, who actually made her wax models by using the heads of aristocrats killed by the guillotine, and
Oh.
then decorated them with glass eyes, real hair and teeth. What a nice lady.
Everybody's got a hobby, I guess.
I guess.
Thanks, TBD!
No, they weren't using them, so I mean,
Thank
like, hey, what are
you.
you gonna do?
Madame Tuspells' accent starts to be a little all over Europe.
Fearin! It could just be the fact that Tom is most familiar with a Quebecois
Mm-hmm.
French accent
maybe.
versus a France French, which are different.
They are different.
Yeah, I had a Quebecois manager who he's like, yeah, all of our swear words don't work over in France. And I'm like, wow.
Wow.
You can fool me, Sholmes. An otomole is an animal from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh.
Nice try. You know what swear word works in any country?
What? You're not wrong about that.
You know what? You wouldn't be wrong about that, but it actually doesn't work in Quebec.
What? What would you
Gra-
say instead?
Well, I would say,
Oh, I see. Huh.
I mean, it only works
I
in
don't know how you
Quebec.
did that with your tongue. That was amazing.
Practice.
Thank you, everyone.
The answer is revealed by the bundle of banknotes protruding so helpfully from your bag. In my estimation, some £200.
Yes, that is all of my own money.
So what does this large sum of money reveal? Ah, not as much as the involuntary glance you cast it would seem, Miss Madame to Spell. Yes, the answer lies to where your eyes fall now. The significance of the £200 is revealed by that public notice. Public notice.
She definitely looked in this direction, it's true.
But I'm not sure she'd sell any of her waxworks even for £200.
Oh?
She must pour her heart and soul into making them, don't you think? Over and above the wax. If it were me, I wouldn't sell them for anything. Anything at all.
For that much money, I would. But it sounds like that makes me a bad person. Well, anyway, I wonder if the £200 could have had some other significance.
Let's follow that furtive glance again and see if there's anything that else could explain it.
La 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 la.
Ba-la-la-la.
Ba la 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 la.
Ba-la-la-la.
La, 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 la. Oh!
A sign. Is
Oh,
it a sign?
I see people think your name is short for Esmeralda, just like Clay. People think your name is short for Clayton.
Short for Clayton, yeah.
Is Tom short for tomato?
Yeah. Tomothy, actually.
I met someone named Brad, and I'm like, oh, like for Bradley. He's like, no, Bradford. And I thought he was joking, but he wasn't.
Oh,
You
Bradford.
laughed and
I was
laughed.
like, Bradford, what a weird name. Good one, Bradley. No, I didn't say that. But I definitely was like, it was like, no, seriously, here's my license. I was like,
Oh. Yeah, I've had to show people my license before.
oh, Bradford.
Oh, Bradford. Waxwork for sale.
Oh, Bradford, take me now.
Remember, parents themselves are just like big kids sometimes.
Oh my, yeah.
Although Bradford's a pretty nice name. Bradford Reginald Oswald.
I assumed Clay was short for Clayton.
Clayton.
Clayton Drake. Waxwork for sale? Would anybody really buy models of mass murderers?
Oh, I think I'd rather have 200 pounds in my pocket.
Exactly. You could buy one of those brand new types of steam carriage. That's what I'd spend it on if I had it. No question.
Oh, I'd buy all the herbs in the world.
There must be another explanation for the money. We need to keep looking.
Speaking of making a bunch of money, apparently Ron from the Harry Potter series,
Yeah.
with his first paycheck, bought an ice cream truck.
He
Nice.
still does ice cream to, like, yeah. What an interesting man. I have to pee. I know you found the thing, but I'll be right back.
All right.
One of you got to be Iris now, baby. Baby. Good luck.
It seems like a well-dressed gentleman is alive and well,
Pretty much.
just not alive and kicking. And he's not a waxwork or a model of a mass murderer.
I'm not sure I'd pay 200 pounds from him.
I'm not sure I'd pay 200 pounds for him.
Oh, that's pretty good, actually. I talked to yourself.
I don't think the man's up for sale. Well, anyway, it was a silly place to put him. The other museum visitors could easily. Huh. Hey, taxi! Taxi! Ooh! Ooh! Well, anyway, it's a silly place to put him. Other museum visitors could easily trip. I think this is as high as I can go. As high as I can go. Yeah, if you wanna like get a little higher, that's always the exercise I did was, hey, taxi, taxi, oh, hey, taxi, hey, taxi, taxi, hey, taxi. It's like up behind your nose, kind of. Taxi, taxi, hey, taxi, taxi. Ooh. Just give her a deep ass voice. Yeah. I don't think the man was put there on purpose either.
Yes, he was Naruhodo. You just don't know it yet.
Give her like a Will Arnett voice. What did he say?
What do you think this is? Some kind of exhibit? For idiots? God damn it! Murders for children, not murderers! It's a Bluth house. Solid as a rock.
My sister made a small wooden table.
Yeah.
And it looked pretty good. I'm like, wow, that's a great looking table. And I meant to just like give it a tap with my foot, but like really
Ooh,
kicked it.
really
and
kicked
it
it.
really shook. I'm like, I'm so sorry. It didn't fall though.
No? No fall?
No fall.
Nice.
No fall damage on that one.
Note on the wall. I should probably examine it. It might change.
Did your taxi come?
No.
It
Ran Tom over.
Oh.
Or that man on the floor. I don't know.
What's that thing pinned on the wall there? With their...
Oh, yes, let's see. Dear Madame Two Spells, we've taken the prisoner from this room. The price for his safe return is 200 pounds.
Wow.
Have the money ready by noon on 23rd October.
What?
This is... It's just like the sort of thing that's left behind when someone's kidnapped.
Yes, it's a ransom note. Oh,
Exactly.
Wow.
Ah, there we go. Okay.
Ransom.
I could have failed miserably.
You could have failed miserably.
I wonder if they would have been like, yeah, the note on the wall, Naruhodo. Did you even fucking read it?
Did you read it?
Did you read it?
I don't think you did. I don't think you did.
I did. I did read it. The significance of the 200 pounds is revealed by that ransom note.
Quite so, and we must congratulate these criminals on their inventiveness, abducting a waxwork. 200 pounds is no small ransom fee, yet you clearly intend to pay it.
The model in question has special importance, so I put together all the money I have.
In summary, then, the 200 pounds you have in your handbag is ransom money for the fully functional stolen culprit. Now, let us explore the next curiosity with which we are presented. Who is the portly gentleman stretched out so peacefully on the floor? Oh, it would appear that the man has suffered a severe shock. The cause of which is clearly known to you. Unfortunately, madame, keeping secrets does not appear to be your forte. What dealt the man such a shocking blow was, of course, the £200.
So, if the waxwork was kidnapped, then where does that leave us in terms of who this man is?
We could just ask him when he comes round.
I think the point of this exercise is to understand the beauty of the deduction process, Iris.
Yes, you're right. Hurley's trying so hard we must let him down.
Well, there's little doubt that he suffered a shock, that much seems clear. But in that case, what's Madame Two-Spells trying to hide? Let's have a closer look around.
Oh!
How many hands you got, girl?
Yo, oh.
1,
What? Oh.
2, 3? 3 hands?
Wait, what? Oh.
Oh, long hair braid. Oh, I gotta do it.
You gotta do it too.
I'm gonna examine it and then I'll send it. Madame Two-Spells has very long hair, doesn't she?
Yes, but you couldn't tell him looking at her at the front.
You know, it looks rather like a whip, don't you think? The sort of whip that could have floored the gentleman with a single crack.
That seems a little far-fetched, even for you, Runo. Runo.
Oh. Take that! Jeez.
What dealt the man such a shocking blow was the long hair braid. Madame Two-Spells' hair is very neatly braided, creating an effective whip that she could use to beat the man into the ground. Oh yes, I can picture the scene quite clearly.
Mr. Naruhodo,
Yes?
I'm afraid your imagination is overactive.
Ow. Well, yes. Perhaps I was clutching at straws a little.
I, on the other hand, can picture the scene of your spiked hair running through the man quite clearly. Oh dear.
And you say my imagination's overactive. Yeah, I can think of a different protagonist with much spikier hair.
Yeah, right?
It must have been a considerable blow to have knocked the man unconscious.
Yes, he looks like a very sturdy man, doesn't he? Oh, perhaps he was struck on the back of the head with something hard.
Don't sound so excited about it, Iris. Whatever did leave the man out cold like that, it must have been quite something.
It feels kind of bad that he's lying there. They keep calling him unconscious, yet nobody's checking on him. You should not be unconscious for this long.
He's fine.
He's probably okay.
The hand of Madame.
This is just Madame Two-Spells' right hand, isn't it?
Yes, it must be. I can clearly see her left hand after all.
Oh, but wait a minute. This is a left hand as well. Look.
Don't say such creepy things, Iris, please.
And it seems very stiff, too.
Stop.
In fact, it's really hard.
You mean it's made of wax? Just trying to send her butt.
Yo, those some big hands, though.
Yowie hand.
She strangled him.
With her yowie hands.
She's a strangler.
Strangle me with
The
your
double
yowie
left hand
hands.
strangler.
How would that work?
You get left for dead.
Oh.
What dealt the man such a shocking blow was, of course, the waxwork hand.
Indeed, with a solid waxwork limb, one could deliver a very substantial blow.
How could you?
The hand protruding from the bottom of your cape. It ought to be a right hand, but closer inspection reveals that, in fact, it's a left hand.
And somewhat masculine as well. In other words, it does not belong to you, madame. It is the hand of a waxwork model.
Oh, God.
Some of the visitors to my museum can be troublesome. They meddle with the exhibits and cause damage.
So you mean that arm?
Is used to knock people out when they're being unruly.
Oui. This gentleman saw fit to try to remove it as a souvenir.
No small keepsake.
Like taking a whole branch off a cherry tree when you go to view the blossoms.
I am afraid I had to teach them a lesson.
You confronted the man and tried to take the arm back.
And the result? The scene we see before us. He was knocked unconscious. A point we may need to revisit later, but for the time being we have our conclusion. Yes, the killer in this special exhibit has been kidnapped.
Kidnapped. Solved. Let's all go home.
The question that arises then is what has become of the waxwork that changed hands? Let us consider that problem for a moment.
You cannot possibly.
What immediately strikes me about this conundrum is the young man standing over there. Who is this fellow? To find the answer, we only need to observe his neckerchief.
Neckerchief.
According to Mr. Sholmes, the yellow neckerchief is a sign to another policeman that a crime is underway.
A way of communicating with his colleagues without revealing his identity, yes. It's a secret that's closely guarded by Scotland Yard.
That Mr. Sholmes didn't hesitate to give away.
Well, uncovering secrets is in any true detective's nature, of course.
Right. Anyway, judging from Madame Two-Spell's reaction to Mr. Sholmes' deduction, I think perhaps we might not have identified the man quite correctly.
Does he have a name tag?
Oh, God!
my
Oh, he was
God.
real!
Really?
A real wax model!
He was a
model.
real fake person. Wow.
Yeah, people don't have detachable arms. Of course not. Only robots who are trying to take over the world would have that, which I am not.
Nor am I.
Of course.
Never. Ha ha ha.
You say such human things.
I love being human.
Who is this fellow? To find the answer, we need only observe. What the? The man has a stub sticking out of his shoulder where his arm should be.
Ah, well that settles it then.
Right. This isn't a real person at all. Of course.
Yeah.
His entire arm's been ripped off.
Arm.
From the shoulder down.
His arm's been... Of course. That ties in with what we just found out.
Shoulder stub.
Bum bum ba-dum bum bum. Look at all those people on the wall.
Well,
Hey.
I'm not seeing anything.
People on the wall.
Take that!
Who is this fellow? To find the answer, we need only observe his shoulder stub.
No such boneless human walks this earth. Of that I can assure you.
Not yet.
In other words, the man standing here, the young Sergeant John Clay, is in fact, defying all odds, a waxwork model.
I seem to remember it was you who concluded he was a real person in the first place, Mr. Sholmes.
He had become quite a celebrity in London, being that he was winner of no less than 3 policing awards last year. I simply had to make a model of the man.
Naturally! What other explanation could there be?
And it was this detective's arm that was pulled off by the man on the floor in the special exhibit, wasn't it?
Next, we turn our attention to the old man sat before him with a particularly unsightly visage. I've been watching closely, and he hasn't moved a muscle. Almost, in fact, as if he were a waxwork.
But you...
Your reaction only confirms my suspicion, madame. I noticed it at once, of course. Observe. The telltale sign that instantly proves whether or not this old man is a waxwork is the obvious price tag.
Killer policeman called Ottermole, was it? Was he well known?
It was all over the papers last year, but I can't say I know what he looks like. It's a very low price, though. Threepence isn't much money.
Only enough for a few measly hours of gas in Mr. Garrett Ebb's delightful lodgings, in fact. So this is the special killer taken from the special exhibit then. The waxwork of somebody stole from the waxwork that somebody stole from the museum and tried to ransom for 200 pounds. Is this crusty old killer policeman Ottermole? Really?
Perhaps we should have a good look at around again and see if another idea crops up.
Oh, he got a twitch and a yellow armband.
Wow.
Why not all of it? Why not all of it?
Why not olive? The
Olive.
other twitches.
Look at this. The old man's tapping his foot like crazy.
He seems to be fast asleep, though.
He's not tapping his foot consciously then. So you mean...
It must be a twitch.
Never mind that. The point is, waxworks don't tap their feet.
Or twitch.
And look at his arm, too. We've seen a scarf like that somewhere else around here, haven't we?
Time to put him in a bathing suit in a hot tub with that twitch.
Nice.
Take that!
The telltale sign that instantly proves whether or not this old man is a waxwork is the obvious twitch.
Even the most realistic waxworks do not exhibit a twitch. In other words, this splendid old man is in fact a genuine member of the Scotland Yard.
Slight shift in your choice of adjectives then.
And there you have it. Well, Madam Two Spells,
Well, what? It was me who contacted the police and demanded that someone come into the first place. He is clearly fatigued. He sound asleep.
But then, what's this tag about showing the price of 3 pence?
no doubt the price of the muffler of which the old Bobby purchased recently at the local market. And I presume you've observed the scarf tied around his arm? Does that not strike you, Mr. Naruhodo?
Yes! The secret sign used by detectives to show that some criminal activity is currently underway.
Of course. Because as you know, there has been such a criminal activity happening here. As you deduce from the very beginning, detective.
So, it would seem that we finally arrive at the truth.
The waxwork of the especially ruthless killer from the special exhibit has been kidnapped. I expected you to...
And Scotland Yard are already investigating. But the model's whereabouts remains a mystery. Thus concludes Herlock Sholmes' great deduction of this horrifying puzzle.
Still a mystery.
A mystery
A mystery.
is history as long as you don't blistery.
Silly Clay, we all know the
Dark.
stray way that works in any country is clay. Because it is a natural response to yell it at the top of your lungs.
My mother would agree with you.
What are you when you were the one that everyone got yelled at?
Oh, no. But like, it would always, it would just be like, always the wrong one somehow.
Oh.
And then it would take like 3 or 4 different names to get to the right one
Yeah.
somehow.
Like for a while, it was my sister's name always got called because she was always getting into trouble. And then it was the dog.
Ah, yes.
Everyone got called the dog when we were being bad.
Yep, the dog would get thrown into the mix. That's for
Shasta,
sure.
shut up.
My name's not Shasta Bum.
Sometimes parents are just like big kids. Sometimes come on Optimus Donatello Kazuma, it's time for school.
Dark Iron! One day I'm going to convince one of my friends to name their child Optimus.
It's the optimal name,
It's the
clearly.
optimal name.
Thank you, Dark Iron.
Thank you.
All sorts of people visit my museum here, men and women and young and old. Sometimes they drop in just for a short time on their way back from the pub. I welcome them all. But if anyone tries to damage my exhibits, I do not take it lightly. Anyway.
Oof.
She's so delightful.
She is.
Your great deduction was even more enchanting than I had been led to believe.
It was a pleasure, my dear madame. I am gratified that you enjoyed the spectacle. And as for your rough customer, I've no doubt he'll regain consciousness shortly and return home. What concerns me more is the waxwork from the special display, if it was indeed a genuinely abducted.
Oui, tragically, it was.
Then I would ask you to recount to us the events surrounding the stolen waxwork. In as much detail as possible, if you please.
Very well. But after I have told you what I know, I must insist that you return to your work.
The talent of a great detective could be put to better use, I feel, but as you wish.
My mom's friend had a kid that was in trouble so much that people thought his name was Darno.
Darno.
Because his name was Dar. And she just was always saying, Darno! Darno!
Oh.
And they're like, oh, your child Darno is very active, isn't he? Oh, his name's just Dar.
Dar.
Oh.
Is it short for something?
No.
Just
Dar.
Should have been a Sith.
Yeah.
Come to the dark side. In the dark side? No.
Dar
We have our own little
Sidious.
club. The stolen waxwork. Tell us more about the stolen waxwork, please.
It was some days ago now when I came in here one morning. I immediately noticed that the waxwork was missing from a special exhibit here.
It's a most prominent display, so that's why the curtains were closed.
And I found the ransom note in its place.
The culprit must have broken in during the night and taken it then.
So this waxwork that was stolen, was it a model of some horrible criminal, I suppose?
Of a particularly horrible criminal, in fact. The killer who left a more profound scar on society than any other. I would say the professor.
Not a name I've heard of.
The professor? It's not Whipping Tom? The man who would spank bums?
Oh, yeah.
Hey. I've
Literally
been called that in years.
actual person in 1712, apparently.
What?
Whipping
Yep.
Tom. He'd spank their bottoms.
And then killed them?
Nope, just
Nope.
spank him and run.
Yep.
Just whoosh, and then into the night.
Wow.
So, Mr. Naruhodo, it seems the circle is complete.
Sorry?
The Professor case happened around the time I was born, didn't it?
Indeed it did, Iris. 10 years ago, a series of murders that rocked the capital.
10 years ago?
Yes, at exactly the time that Barak van Zeeks graduated from university, in fact.
What? Surely he's not saying...
So the big event that changed Mr. Reap's life.
As you've surmised, it was the professor's case.
Who was the professor then?
I bet he was pretty nutty.
Or harebrained.
Yeah.
Gasp.
It was a series of gruesome murders that all had a London gripped in terror a decade ago. After 5 victims were killed, the man was arrested and put to death.
And now he's immortalized here in wax for all Londoners to admire and enjoy. Though, of course, he happens to be absent at present on account of the abduction.
But I don't understand. How is all this related to Lord Von Zeeks?
You must first understand, my dear fellow, why it is that the professor earned such infamy. It was due to the victims he chose, some of Whitehall's finest.
What do you mean, Harley?
Those murdered by the professor were some of the highest members of British aristocracy. Aristocracy?
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 I believe, yeah.
Aristocracy. Members of the nobility, even royalty. It sent shockwaves through the country's administration.
Members of the... wait, of course! What Professor Hairbrain said! Lord Von Zeeks is from a family with noble blood!
Oh gosh!
It was the 5th victim that led the professors to the professor's arrest. The last of the killer's prey was a young noble by the name of Clint Van Zeeks.
No! I don't believe it! Von Zeeks?
I'm sure you can piece together the rest for yourself. In the wake of his older brother's murder, the young Barak pursued a career as a prosecutor, and eventually became the Reaper we know today.
I had no idea Lord Von Zeeks had such a tragic past.
Well, I'm afraid that's all I can say on the matter, for the time being at least. After all, I have work to do. As a waxwork exhibit.
I am afraid I shall have to ask you to excuse myself as well.
Oh, yes, of course. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Whoopsie!
Bim bam bum 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 bada bum 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 bada bum 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 bum.
Well, none of the predicted scenarios I've been analyzing involved you coming to visit me here. Well. Oh.
It's been far too... Oh, yes, he's a bit German, only a little, because he's been influenced by the culture, blah, blah, blah. It's been too long, it really has. I'm delighted to see you, Barak.
It's been 10 years, and here we are, meeting in a prison of all places.
I can't forgive myself for what happened to Mr. Assman. I just can't. I still can't believe it could happen.
Tomorrow, the court will decide.
Yes. I have a young Eastern man acting as my defense. He seems reliable enough, so. Oh, it was an accident, a terrible accident. He assures me he can prove it.
It's like, on the one hand, I'm very concerned because the Reaper is my prosecutor. On the other hand, my defense attorney has kind of beaten him 4 or 5 times in a row now. So...
If I was a betting man, I would bet. Bet.
Bet.
I must warn you.
Oh, I know. I've heard already. You're going to be prosecuting, aren't you?
Yes.
Oh, his name wasn't Clint originally, it was Clunt? That's a terrible name.
Since I returned to English, I've heard lots of stories. Barak, are you really...
What?
Never mind. I know you have my best interests at heart.
My friend is on trial. I wouldn't entrust it to anybody else.
Of course, I fully understand. Thank you, Barak.
Until tomorrow, then. I'll see you in court.
Bum, 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 bum,
Bum, bum, bum.
What a good tune. Oh,
Tubies.
So close.
So
Tubies.
close.
Tubies.
Tubies.
It's just like
Tubes.
tubies.
Tubies. man.
Tubies, BB.
I love
Tubies.
2B is like my report card.
Buy a BB gun and shoot you and be like, I thought you liked 2Bs.
Oh.
Watch out.
Oh, maybe you. Oh, sorry. I shot from too away. I need to be a little nearer.
You know what was really disappointing for me as a kid?
What?
Finding out that BBs weren't actually shaped like bees.
Wow.
I know.
Never had that thought in my life.
Me neither.
What?
No.
It's a BB gun, so of course
know.
it shoots BBs. And what do
Of course.
BBs look like? They'd be 2Bs.
They'd be 2Bs,
They'd be double Bs.
I thought they were beads.
Bead beads?
Oh, yeah. They're
Bead
they're
guns.
like beads.
But I didn't care for guns, so I was just like, oh, okay, whatever. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Clay, I did read it. Me,
I did.
why the fuck you lying? Why
I
the
like to
fuck
lie.
you lying? Stop the fucking lying.
I can't.
Lion King.
Ah. Hey.
BemoNet Mark 5.
BemoNet Mark 5.
One of us.
One of us.
One of us.
One of us. BemoNet.
I knew that blue puppet was up to no good. Wait, what do you mean different, Professor? Thanks for the streams, boys. Been tough lately.
Oh,
Aw.
sorry to hear that.
Oh, Puffin.
Glad you can be here, though.
Thank you. It's been a bit rough and tumble, Isaac. Bit rough and tumbly. Sorry to hear about it.
23rd of October, 8:52 a.m. The Old Bailey, Defendant's Antechamber.
Oh, to chamber.
I can't believe it's been 6 months since I was last allowed to work in court. And now I'm here, back at the Old Bailey.
Mr. Naruhodo.
Good morning, Professor Hairbrain.
I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense. The atmospheric pressure in here is off the charts. I've never felt anything like it. It's crushing me. It's crushing.
I feel it every time I'm here. That gravity.
Well, this is Britain's highest court. But are you telling me it's fitted with some kind of device that can actually control the air pressure?
I think it's probably all in the mind.
Ah, yes, well, you won't let me down, will you, Mr. Naruhodo? I'm counting on you in today's trial to save my life. To save the secrets of my super high voltage instantaneous kinesis machine from being made public.
Nice. Good read.
Yes, I understand. Now I know what I have to do. I have to establish that the explosion 2 days ago was nothing more than an unfortunate accident, without knowing anything about the machine in question.
Well, I'm sure there's nothing to worry about, really. Justice will prevail.
Oh.
My commiserations, Mr. Naruhodo. You appear to have been lumbered with a most tiresome case here.
Commiserating. Say it ain't so.
It's
Sherlock Holmes.
No.
It's Sherlock
Holmes.
Turn
Say
the
it ain't
lights
so.
off. Skin prints on bone.
Carry Iris home.
Carry Iris home.
Aww.
Keep your head
Aw.
still. She's napping still.
Mr. Sholmes, I didn't expect to see you here.
That was very mean, Bruno, leaving me all alone at home with Hurley. It took me at least an hour to wake him.
Is it? Are you Sherlock Holmes?
Indeed, sir, I am here. Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, I've heard all about your exploits, even whilst living in Germany.
Oh yes, Rand's magazine is on sale in Germany too.
6 months installers was sublime. Your deduction in the adventures of the Silver Blaze was wonderful.
Ah, yes, a memorable case indeed. It concerned a snake, I seem to recall.
No, that was the speckled band.
Well, thank you for coming. I do appreciate your support.
I'm sorry to disappoint you, my dear fellow, but I'm afraid I can't stay.
Oh?
I have urgent business at Madame Two Spells.
You mean your waxwork job?
No, the waxwork abduction, of course. Madame has engaged my services.
Services. Engaged.
Oh, so you're trying to get to the bottom of that ransom note, are you?
The week's wages depend on it, as does the safe return of the waxwork, naturally. As such, I intend to give it my undivided attention.
Oh, well, never mind then. I understand.
Of course, with my skills of observation and reasoning, observation.
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 Do you observate often?
Usually once a day, trying to keep things fresh. And reasoning resolve the matter will be easy as proverbial pie.
Oh, speaking of proverbial pie,
yeah?
I made butterscotch pudding and I put cinnamon in it and it tasted like home.
Aw.
Like, it's so good.
I shall return forthwith. For until I solve the case, I shall have no money to afford a pie of any description.
Oh, then you must absolutely give it your full attention, Hurley.
Quite, Iris, quite. But life is riddled with irony, you know. Whenever I give something my full attention, I have quite the insatiable desire for a pie. One of the universe's untraceable mysteries, you might say.
Oh, yes, quite. Definitely, absolutely, I totally understand.
Is someone a little starstruck?
I wish you the very best of luck, Professor Hairbrain.
Why, thank you.
Oh, before I depart, Mr. Naruhodo, a word in your ear, if you please.
What's this about?
As you have remarkably little grounding in science, I feel I ought to inform you. As compelling as this super high voltage instantaneous kinesis hypothesis may be, a practical implementation such as was attempted by the professor at the Great Exhibition is quite impossible.
But the professor said the demonstration was a success.
Yes, it would appear that he fervently believes it was.
I've read Professor Bunnybrain's papers about it too, Runo, and I have to say, I'm sure it can't be done. It can barely be done theoretically, let alone practically.
So he's completely barking up the wrong tree? But how can an experiment that had no possibility of succeeding in fact succeed? That's contradictory.
And that's the contradiction that will be the heart of the trial, no doubt.
What's that supposed to mean?
Now I must hurry along. I wish you the best of luck, my dear fellow.
See you later, Hurley! Well, it looks like you're on your own today, Runo, but chin up, you can do it.
Oh, what about you, Iris?
Oh no, I'm afraid I can't help. I have something I need to do.
What? I see. I know this sounds funny for a lawyer, but I've never been in court alone before.
It's gonna be a big surprise for you when you find out what it is.
That sounds ominous.
We, counsel for the defense and the defendant. Court is about to be in session. Make sure you way to the courtroom at once.
We're on our way.
On the way.
On the way.
On the way.
On the way.
Omniway.
Omniway.
Like to hold your hand.
An experiment that the laws of science say can't possibly succeed. And a scientist who's convinced that he did it. That's the riddle you have to unlock here, Ryunosuke. That's the key to this case.
To be continued.
DBC. DBC.
You can do it.
DBC.
23rd of October, 9:10 a.m. The Old Bailey courtroom.
Woo! New jurors!
Is Fairplay the foreman again? I didn't see that.
I saw a lady with a hat and a lady with pigtails, and I'm thrilled.
Oh.
I am thrilled that they are here.
Wild.
Sorry, Dark Iron. Some of those are behind. This is in reference to Madame Two Spells waxwork arm.
Hey, Madame Two Spells.
Ryunosuke, if I just take that waxwork arm, imagine all the lawyer pointing I could do. Sholmes, objection, that arm doesn't belong to you.
Go gadget objection arm!
Slap Edgeworth from across the bah! Rip up the autopsy report. Oh my god.
I have updated the autopsy report.
So you telling me Tom whipped people and would run into the night? Looks to see if Tom's hair is braided into a whip weapon.
It looks short from the front, but in the back, braided.
Serious in the front, whippy in the back.
Looks at Nyan's pockets, there is 50 characters in here. Looks at Tom's pockets, I think I see no. That's just a fly around Van Zeeks.
Well, maybe someone will get some jurors.
Maybe.
Maybe. Anyway,
Jeez, Dark Iron.
I'm gonna do my only character.
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. We are sitting today for the public trial of Professor Albert Harebrain. I now call upon the counsels for the prosecution and the defense to declare their willingness to proceed.
The prosecution is ready.
The defense is ready, my lord. I think I'm 6 months out of practice, and what's more,
Oh, I thought she was there. I was like, what?
Oh, sorry.
I'm without Susato-san today. Is it just my imagination? Or does the air in here feel even more oppressive than usual?
So, I must say that I recollect the victim in this case all too well. Mr. Odie Asman.
Mr. Asman was well known as a financier, though that was merely a front for his diverse criminal activities.
It was only a month ago that the man appeared in court, prosecuted by you, Lord Van Zieks. But the jury unanimously found him not guilty.
Because every member of the jury had been bribed by the sound of it. These powerful London criminals are prepared to go to extreme lengths to keep their freedom.
But 2 days ago, on 21st October,
Gets me every time.
Mr. Asman met his end. The work of the Reaper, was it?
If that is how your lordship would describe divine retribution. But the fact remains that Mr. Asman's death was a direct result of the actions of the accused, Professor Harebrain.
Very well then. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you have been selected at random to represent the will of the people. Are the 6 of you ready to fulfill your societal duty?
Wow. A new man.
Damn.
A new man.
I am most gratified to have been selected to carry out this important civic duty, my lord.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh!
She is like actually a JoJo character.
she's great.
To have a man's fate in the palm of one's hand. Oh gosh, oh golly. It sends shivers down my spine.
Oh fuck.
You set me up! You both set me up! Oh man!
What are you gonna do?
Science experiments! Magic!
Yes.
Blah!
Hey,
I
count,
want to suck your blood!
count zero number 1, 2.
3! That's me! Magic!
You could make him Transylvanian.
Please, yes, making Transylvanians. Count to number 8. Alternatively, Himiko voice, who needs to sleep says.
Oh.
Oh,
Can you even go there anymore?
I never did Himiko. It was all you, wasn't it?
Was it?
I think you were the
Oh.
only one who was doing voices.
No. By V3?
By
no.
V3?
No,
Were
we
we
were
doing
all
voices
doing
by-
voices, absolutely. But you are correct. Somehow I did get Himiko, because I remember... Yeah.
Yeah, you were kneeing your way.
Yeah.
eh.
Whatever.
Make him Chris Angle.
Chris Angle.
Cause I'm an ass man, yeah. I'm an ass man, yes, I'm an ass man. Oh, I'm an ass man. I did what was necessary. I am a patriot and a saint.
Dark Iron!
Thank you.
I didn't talk then.
Science experiments, magic, conjuring tricks, courtroom trials, all are nothing more than performances.
Oh, God.
Any suspicious scholar that defiles the reputation of science deserves to hang.
This looks like it's a reference to like some historical figure that they just copy and pasted onto a model.
A little bit, doesn't it?
Oh man, hexagons are the bestagons.
That or Colonel Sanders grew his hair out and didn't swallow any chicken.
And shaved his mustache.
Gasp.
We have to listen to what I said on both sides of the fence and settled on one. That's it, isn't it?
Oh, shit!
Juror 6 fans stay sleeping.
Wasn't like this in my day. Wasn't like this at all.
Put the gun away.
That's the police killer Ottermole lookalike. Again. And he's as exhausted as ever, it seems.
Because he spends all his liturgy. Liturgy.
Liturgy?
Yeah, that's leg energy.
Leg energy.
Yeah.
I thought it was Letterman energy.
Legergy.
Yeah, leg energy tapping. Doesn't get any sleep. Because while he sleeps, taps the leg. All energy. Gone.
Restless leg syndrome, man.
Oh,
It's real, apparently.
Oh yeah, RLS.
Absolutely.
You just lie in bed and then you're just kicking. You're just kicking legs.
Now, as I'm sure you're all aware, the incident we are here to judge today tragically took place at the Great Exhibition, shortly after its opening.
Though the death toll could have been far worse, with the exception of the victim. No one else was killed. Nevertheless, the dream of the science being exhibited rapidly turned into a nightmare for the spectators.
A tragic turn of events, and as such, the eyes of London, no, of the whole world that will be on this trial. It is our duty to reach a swift and just conclusion, I feel. So, your opening statement, please, Lord Von Zix.
At the heart of this incident is technology never before demonstrated anywhere in the world.
One of science's great developments, I take it. The government is keen to capitalize on the Great Exhibition to improve Britain's technological advantage.
The technology being demonstrated by the accused was described as super high voltage instantaneous kinesis.
Good lord!
It's designed to disassemble human subjects using extremely high voltage electricity and beam them instantly to another location where they're subsequently reassembled.
Is such a thing even within the realms of possibility?
Well, I don't believe it is, that's for sure.
Disassembling people with electricity. Oh my goodness, how shocking.
Oh, your idea is absurd. The hypothesis would never stand up to scrutiny.
Colonel Science.
Colonel Science.
Sir, I believe you are a fellow of the Royal Society, are you not? An expert in your field.
I am, and my word on the matter can't be considered final. Instantaneous kinesis is poppycock.
Look at all the gym badges he has. He could train up to level 59 Pokemon.
What do you think his favorite Pokemon is? Go check.
Chandelure.
Oh, that's a good one.
So this experiment and Mr. Sholmes are in agreement.
Oh, sorry, experiment. Wow. I really jumped it there.
So this expert and Mr. Sholmes are in agreement. It's impossible.
And what is the prosecution's view on the matter?
The prosecution would assert that the accused's instantaneous kinesis demonstration was a success.
What?
What?
Yeah, what rock?
Poppycock!
Did you say puppy cook? They have a puppy who can cook?
Poppycock!
I love puppy cook.
I'm censoring the word puppy cook from this channel.
What? Why would you ever censor the... How
That's
could you-
why.
Order! Order!
The professor's hypothesis is currently under the investigation by the British government. If it is deemed to have merit, a substantial research grant would be made available. The accused made use of the invention built on his new hypothesis to take Mr. Asman's life, in order to be the sole benefactor of the grant.
That's a very elaborate plan.
But
This disastrous demonstration was not an accident. It was carefully designed from the outset to end the life of the victim.
Thank you, Lord Von Zieks. The prosecution's stance is clear. But you will now bring forth witnesses to substantiate your claims.
Gladly, my lord. Bailiff, show the first witnesses to the stand.
I don't know why your Von Zieks voice fills my head more than the others.
The real plot twist of this case is that we actually have a whole new cast of jurors.
Jack, I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, oh, how many of the jurors are going to be the same? Oh, none.
Wow.
Wow, none.
That hasn't happened since the first case.
Since the first case.
Thank you.
What's the time capsule? I mean, if Clay is going to take forever to post my donation anyway, might as well save it for the next generation.
Dark Iron. I can't believe that Brian nailed the sass of that.
Right? I know. I'm trying.
He's trying.
I mean, if Clay is going to take forever to post my donation anyway. Jeez.
State your names and occupation for the court.
Yes, sir. Tobias Gregson, Detective Inspector at Scotland Yard's Homicide Division. I was on duty at the demonstration on the day in question and in charge of the following investigation.
Albert Hairbrain, scientist.
Why do you always get like the crazy sharp ones? The twitchy ones.
Because I'm crazy, sharp, and twitchy. It's my life. I live
Johnny
on
Bravo,
Twitch.
is that you?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Where's your ladies at? I'm gonna do them good.
Hey, mama.
Hey, mama.
You were born in England but have been carrying out research in Germany in recent years, correct?
Yes, that's right. After graduating from university here in Britain, I went to work in Germany and made an amazing discovery, which is why brought me back. I had to demonstrate my incredible hypothesis of the Great Exhibition.
What you demonstrated, it was incredible, right? An incredible...
But the science was a success. The instantaneous kinesis worked. Everyone saw it. They must have done. Yes, there was a terrible accident, but the demonstration of my hypothesis was a success.
Well, that much is undeniable, as shown in this photograph taken by the forensics team.
This was taken inside the Crystal Tower, I take it. The centerpiece of the exhibition, no less.
Nobody sees anything? Alright.
I just see a really attractive man who apparently was an asshole.
So unfortunate. That's right, my lord. Seems the victim rammed straight into it. Right up there.
He kind of has like handsome Squidward face going on with like the pursed lips a little bit. You know, the
I see. Very well. Submit the photograph as evidence.
As the court said, the victim of the incident was Mr. Odie Osmond. There have been murder allegations against him, but putting them aside for the time being, he was a man who financed the research for the experiment and demonstration himself.
I see. So to summarize the situation, the defendant is accused of taking the life of the man who funded his work. Would that be correct?
Exactly.
But couldn't it be that the explosion was caused by some malfunction in the apparatus used for the demonstration?
That's right, that must be it, my splendid machine. My poor splendid machine.
You saw it yesterday, didn't you? We can't even imagine the wreckage examine the wreckage thanks to the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act.
What? The wreckage? The wreckage?
That being the case, how can the facts be established? How can it possibly be determined whether this was an accident or deliberate and malicious act?
Extremely simply, my lord.
I beg your pardon.
Isn't that right, witness?
Sorry, me?
No, your neighbor.
Yes, sir. It was a murder, plain and simple. Anyone could state that with complete certainty.
What? How can he possibly think that?
Maybe the gunshot wound to the heart, perhaps? I don't know, but you know what? Whatever. You just do your life, I guess.
I will.
Thank you, Inspector. I think we better proceed to a formal testimony. You will explain to the court on what grounds you claim this experiment to have been a front for murder.
Witness testimony.
A front for murder.
Murder.
The corpse that went crashing through the crystal tower had a broken neck.
I made a minor miscalculation on the angle of the beam projections. That's all. That was my mistake.
But the post-mortem examination revealed another injury, a fatal wound. There was a lesion on his chest where he'd clearly been stabbed by something sharp right in the heart. So the victim was killed before he went anywhere, and this fella's the only one who could have done it.
It's weird that the defendant's on the stand as a witness as well.
Right? That usually doesn't happen.
That usually doesn't happen.
In this game, at least. I remember in older histories, it felt like the accused was always one of the first witnesses that came up. But maybe I'm misremembering.
Usually, and then we would, have to accuse them, and then they get them off.
Yeah.
Of murder.
Unrelated to the case.
An extraordinary business. In addition to suffering a broken neck, the victim was stabbed in the heart.
Information I would have really liked to have heard from someone other than the judge.
The coroner says death would have been all but instant from a wound like that.
You could say, in fact, that the victim was killed twice by the accused.
Well, there we go. Double murder. Therefore, no murder was committed.
Cancelled out.
Because murder's a bad thing, and
Yeah.
two negatives
Make
cancel each other out.
Positive.
Positive.
Yeah.
Look, we
So-
know maths.
If anything, we're a father now, so
You're welcome.
yeah. We gotta prosecute a single dad now. Single dad scientist. Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah.
That
was
just makes
big
you a
man
bad
prosecuting
person.
single father. Just trying
How
to
dare you? Put
Provide?
science on the table.
just pulling your science out, putting it on the table.
No, and no, that cannot be farther from the truth.
I have here the experiment plan document that was submitted by the security team.
I have to use the restroom. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
The victim stood himself inside something called the birdcage, ready to be beamed instantly. Both. To the second level of Crystal Tower about 25 yards away.
The experiment did not go according to plan, however.
Oh, God.
As the machine was put into operation, there was a large explosion.
Oh, God.
The blast caused the beam transmitter to point higher than intended.
Oh, God, I played enough Worms to know how this goes.
Traitor!
Accordingly, the kinesis resulted in the birdcage materializing in midair. From where it subsequently fell, crashing through the glass of the Crystal Tower large round window.
My word. One assumes the victim's neck was broken upon impact with the tower then.
I'm so sorry. I didn't mean for this to happen. The machine was just too powerful. But honestly, really, I swear, it was an accident, a terrible accident.
Unfortunately, that excuse can't save you.
No, not considering the sharp murder weapon that pierced the victim's heart.
Murder weapon? What are you saying?
This is the autopsy report submitted by the coroner. The prosecution would like it entered into the court record.
Your request is granted, counsel.
Autopsy report has been entered into the court record.
Wonder what that says.
I was there in person, you know. I saw the whole ludicrous performance. The only other person on stage with Mr. Assman was a disgraceful excuse for a scientist.
Nice.
Then really, by all accounts, it must have been him.
Hard to think otherwise, really.
Does no one want to hear from juror number 3?
I have card trick to tell you, to show you how it works.
I could give you my 2 cents.
Yeah, the funny thing is that a magician on the jury really kind of at least leads you to think it's going one way.
Or
But who
another.
knows? Yeah.
Very well. Counsel for the defense, proceed with the cross-examination, please.
Oh, yes, my lord. I need to focus here. It's been a while.
Yo, you know shit's about to get real when he slapped himself in the face.
Oh, yeah. A front for murder.
The corpse that went crashing through the crystal tower had a broken neck.
Oof, crashing through the tower.
Are you suggesting that's because he fell from a considerable height?
Exactly. Which highlights something else about this whole rum business.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
Professor Hairbrain, are you hiding something from the court?
It's 4.
Oh, wow.
What was that?
I was calculating the neuralization coefficient of electrical charge required for electrolysis of human subject.
They're still on
I have to
dial-up.
keep the results a secret at all costs, you see. That's why I ate the paper I did my working on. But I've now completely forgotten the number. Oh, dear me. I'm a scatterbrain sometimes.
A hairbrain, actually.
Yeah.
Moments before you ate the paper, you did yell out the number 4.
No! You know it. You know the secret coefficient. Oh, dear. Oh, no. This is bad. Oh, my goodness.
Perhaps you could just focus on the testimony.
My only back seat, excuse me on the professor, that is all. Not related to plot advancement.
You got it. Thanks, Bloodkid.
You got it.
You got it from your moderators.
Opens the capsule,
iron.
it says in the future humor will be randomly generated. What the 420 does that ME69? Waste of time after all.
Oh, it's good.
Thanks, DVD.
That was Dark Iron.
That was
Dark Iron. Oh, no.
Are you suggesting that's because he fell from a considerable height?
Exactly. Which highlights something else about this whole rum business.
And what's that?
The fact that the instantaneous kinesis itself was a success.
After the explosion, the cage with a fella inside suddenly appeared out of nowhere mid-air.
So although the experiment ended in disaster, the so-called instantaneous kinesis did actually occur.
Remind us, Professor, what was the cause of the fatal disaster?
I made a minor miscalculation at the angle of the beam projection. That's all. It was all my mistakes.
So the angle of projection is critical, is it? And you calculated it yourself, personally?
Absolutely. The calculation is far too complicated for anyone else but me to carry out.
Only you got it wrong, didn't you?
Yes, that's right. That's the point. The calculation is so complicated, even I can make a mistake.
Do people fall for that brazen confidence? I should try it.
Yes, they do.
I took into account the subject's height and weight, the wind direction, the ambient temperature. I considered every possible variable. So I don't understand how this could have happened.
Obviously, then, you had to include the weight of the clothes that Mr. Assman was wearing at the time, I suppose.
Cracking glink comets, the answer should have been 3!
So much for safety first. The 3 must be for a safety third.
But a post-mortem examination revealed another injury, a fatal wound.
Another fatal injury? You say? That doesn't make any sense.
I didn't think I'd have to spell this out for you, but here we go. Just because there's two fatal wounds doesn't mean I'm saying the victim had 2 lives to lose, does it?
Too right.
Obviously, at first we thought the bloke had died due to a spine snapping in half as well.
Oh, okay.
But you're saying that's not the case?
You'll get your answers once I'm finished with fish and chips, if you don't like butting in every few seconds.
But we all know that's a bottomless bag.
The victim plummeted 30 feet into a glass tower. It would be reasonable to assume that as a cause of death.
Right. That's what we all thought, but it was a red herring, wasn't it?
Communism was a red herring.
Oh! There was a lesion on his chest that had clearly been stabbed by something sharp right in his eye.
The defense knew nothing of this crucial information.
You could have just stopped at the defense knew nothing, because
Oh.
we really don't know anything about anything.
I like to add extra lawyer words to make me seem more lawyer.
The prosecution received this report from the forensic investigation team only this morning. That was the first we knew of it as well. I can only apologize for the impossibility of informing the defense.
Maybe it's a commentary on how our whole legal system moves a little too fast, and maybe we should take some time to properly investigate things before jumping into court a day later?
No, don't
that's
be
crazy.
silly.
Sarcastic and insincere. Thanks. So, what was the nature of this sharp object?
Among the accused's tools that were in use at the demonstration, one is of particular interest. This.
Ah.
Oh. Oh, there he is.
Oh, yes, it appeared to be some kind of screwdriver, wouldn't it?
There he is. My trusty little companion, Andrew.
Screw that guy.
Ha!
I do.
Andrew? Of course.
Ah, do you know each other already? He's one of my dear friends, like all my tools. I've named them all, you know. We're one big happy family. Andrew is my flathead screwdriver, of course. His brother Michael is a crosshead.
Well, it would appear that your beloved Andrew has a red stain on its shank.
That isn't...
It's blood, beyond all reasonable doubt.
No!
And that's not all. The long, sharp shake of this Andrew fellow is completely consistent with the victim's wound.
Huh? What? What?
Order! Order! The court will enter this friend of the defendant as evidence.
So one of the Professor Hairbrain's tools is the murder weapon. Great. Just great.
So the victim was killed before we went anywhere, and this fella's the only one who could have done it.
Hold it! What grounds do you have for saying that?
Huh! Do you really need to ask? There are only 2 people on that public experimentation stage in front of the whole crowd.
The victim, Mr. Odie Osmond, and the accused, Professor Hairbrain. And we know for certain that before the experiment, the victim was alive.
That's right, I saw him with my own eyes.
Furthermore, following the explosion, the kinesis, nobody went anywhere near the body.
In other words, only someone on stage with the victim could possibly have done it.
Great Scott!
Excuse me. Professor Hairbrain, do you have some information that may be relevant here? Professor!
Sorry. I was just calculating the optimum coefficient of the electrons to separate molecules in the human body.
And the witness stand is the best place for that? It seemed as though you might have something to say. This is definitely the guy who would have like the equations all over the walls of his cell.
Oh, yes.
You know?
Yes.
About Inspector Gregson's last remark.
Yes, that's right, of course. He just said that nobody else could have done it, didn't he?
Yeah, that's right. Who else could have stabbed the victim, eh?
I don't know, but there's no way that I could possibly have stabbed this Mr. Asman, as you say.
Aye.
Explain, please, Professor.
Of course, this cold-hearted policeman may not be aware, I suppose. But humans are warm-blooded mammals with blood running continuously through their veins.
I had heard.
And then surely you see, if I'd plunged something of that size, the size of Andrew, into the man's chest, the whole stage would have been a bloodbath. No, a blood swimming pool.
Huh.
But thousands of Londoners were watching me at the time, and yet not one of them claims to have seen the swimming pool of blood.
Well, no, I suppose not.
You see, not one.
Huh, true. I didn't see anything like that.
Slowly becoming Nixon.
Yes, I'm not a crook. Very much.
Well done, Professor. That was a great counter-argument.
Magician, did somebody say count?
Order!
Pray forgive me the discourtesy if I savor a drop from my hallowed chalice to accompany my old friends adducing.
Adducing, I guess.
He's pooping in
Adducing?
the court.
Oh.
Adducing in the courtroom.
Here's to you, Albert.
Oh, you're too kind, Barak. But I'm really not a patch on you. Oh.
Rip.
No, you're not.
Rude, but okay. No?
You've neglected to mention one crucial possibility.
I have?
A particular situation in which very little bleeding would result from a stab wound.
Oh, of course.
Inspector, enlighten the court, please.
Yes, sir.
Where are they going with this?
Very well. You will amend your formal testimony now, Inspector Gregson.
Oh, the weapon the victim used to stab with must have been left in his body whilst it beamed through the air.
Hold it!
Why would you think that, Inspector?
With any wound, it's only when you pull the weapon out that profuse bleeding starts. Whilst it's still lodged in the body, it acts as a stopper of sorts. For want of a better word.
I see.
You don't need a medical degree to be aware of this fact. It's common knowledge for any investigator.
I believe you would need a degree of medical knowledge, though.
Wow, that was really good.
Right?
Let's talk about that.
Where's Sasato-san when you need her?
If you ask me, this bloke masked what he was doing from view with his body before stabbing Asman in the chest. Then beamed the victim off stage with his fancy device, screwdriver still planted in it.
I would never do such a thing. Not my precious tools. I would never use any of them for such dirty work.
I would use my stabbing knife, Stephen.
This is what he's made for, right, Stephen?
Yes, I love stabbing.
Of course you do, Stephen. Go back to your sheath. He's very active sometimes. We must put him to bed. You only use tools for their intended purpose. That's common knowledge for any scientist.
The fact remains that the lack of blood at the seam can easily be explained, as the prosecution has demonstrated.
So that's all the testimony I have to work with today.
Oh! It about that time.
It is.
Ooh.
And yeah, sorry about the audio. It's something that we're working on. I was working on it during, as I'm sure you noticed, and I hope it's somewhere that works for now, because it's hard to balance such varied and talented voices.
Ah, yes.
Oh, you're too kind to me and everyone.
I was gonna say,
Name
and
time.
mine.
Odiasman is a pun on odious man,
Hey.
whereas his Japanese name,
What?
Elida Mainingen, is a pun on the Japanese for incredibly useless person. One
Oh.
Damn.
Damn.
Rude.
Albert Harebrain's name is a reference to Albert Einstein as well, a pun on harebrained. 2/3.
Right, so, which is why he's only a little German.
His Japanese name is Benjamin Dobinbao, which is a reference to Benjamin Franklin as well as a pun on the Japanese for incredibly poor.
Dobinbo.
3/3.
Well, that hasn't really come up at all. That's funny.
Dobinbo.
Thank you, TBD.
Thank you.
Damn.
Well, he was basically like, I need money.
Oh,
I
yeah.
could probably make this a real rounded and concise thought-provoking donation. Not a job for me, I just want a simp for Van Zeek's worth IT.
Hey.
Thank you.
Andrew may be your friend, Professor, but if I'm honest, he seems like a bit of a tool.
Hey, but he has his uses.
Cyber Saiyan.
That's funny.
Thank you.
That's funny.
Albert Harebrain, Doctor of Self-Incrimination.
John.
Well, he gets himself out of it as much as he puts himself into it, it
Yeah.
seems.
Yeah. The bloodbath was a good comeback.
Right? I know. I didn't even think about that.
Blood swimming
Stephen,
pool.
Oh boy, here I got stabbing again. Cough, cough. Was I a good stabbing, Stephen? Albert, you were the best. You stabbed me in the heart.
Aww.
That was a touching story.
I'd watch that anime.
Stab through the heart and you're to blame. Stabbing Steven.
Is the knife's name.
Thank you.
Focus on this. See what happens if I do.
But yeah, I think I found something that works. Does everything sound okie dokie to you, Annie?
I mean, in my head it all sounds weird, especially when I do like this.
Well, when I do this, it sounds a bit weird, but
Oh, that sounds different.
I could see
whoa,
that.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! But I think I'm assuming that it's just
It's you, yeah.
It's me.
Yeah, because yeah, same thing. I sound a bit weird in my own head a little time to time, but you sound like the Iris we all know and love in my head, at least. Because yeah, it was a bit weird sometimes, but I fiddled with some things on
It
the fly.
sounded a bit weird when I was talking like this as well. It gets louder and lower for Nyanny. Louder and lower. I've been trying my best to speak directly into the microphone.
Peaky Man, can we have an audio adjusting stream? You actually missed it. We had one just before this stream.
Just before the stream.
The thing is, though, is that no matter what you do before stream, when you're actually doing the thing, like things you can't really predict keep cropping up. Like Tom voicing some sexy French lady, you know? Can't say that I prepared for that.
We didn't prepare for the sexy French lady. Nobody prepares for the sexy French lady. They come out of nowhere.
She's got 2 left hands. We should get married because I have 2 left feet.
Good night, everybody. It's definitely better now. Well, like, the thing is, I can intentionally make it sound like this, but I have to speak relatively quietly and relatively closely, and it feels pretty ASMR-y, and I don't know. I want to say things like
Use your tongue.
verklempt.
Ooh. Can you give me a wet word?
Moist.
Smoist. Oh, damn.
S'mores.
What happens when your s'mores fall in the pool?
They get
Smoist.
moist.
Moisten. You.
That was disgusting.
Wow.
so loud. We need to lower it a little bit. It's moist.
Moist.
But anyways, yeah, it wasn't too long. We could have spent a little longer on it, but only so much time.
Only so much time in the
Been
day.
a pleasure though. We have a Yakuza Smash tournament coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might need your guys' help picking up some characters because we got quite a few. We have quite a few, but we also have not so many.
Yeah.
But also,
I
quite
know
a
who
few.
I'm rooting for.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Who?
That lady we always took pictures of when we ran by her.
wasn't planning
I
on
think her
putting
name
her
was
in,
like
but
Dominic?
maybe.
Dominic? Tris?
Favorite movie, The Matrix. Nice.
When
All right.
you need a little self 5, you know?
Yeah.
All right.
Spank my butt a little bit. All right. Well, I
Get a
hope
whipping, Tom.
either see you at Yakuza or see you tomorrow. Either way, it's gonna be fun. All right.
Hell yeah.
Bye, everybody.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye, I love you. Bye.
Bye.
End the stream, me. Yeah, great time. Perfect timing.